Hi everyone. In the last video, Danny answered some questions, and he'll be continuing this full reversal with some very interesting testimony about how God and the angels work with us to help us in our lives. You know, in the last video I mentioned some things about me that are the biggest issues I have in my life. One of the reasons I talked about them was because too many religions these days judge people on sins that are only minor in the eyes of God and the angels. Yes, if they take control of us and we have so many that we are in confusion all the time, then we have to do something about them. But for the most part, God and the angels work with us to do good things in life that will help us spiritually evolve so we can join them in heaven. If God was to refuse our help because of some of the things that we do in our life, then it would be incredibly difficult for Him to get help or for anyone to have faith in God, for we all make mistakes. Sometimes we have to look at God or the angels being like parents, and if a parent would abandon one of their own children. The answer is obviously no, for the love for our children is unconditional, just like God's love. That being said, when it comes to someone committing higher crimes against God and even humanity that do not show love and compassion for others, then we are enabled to remain under the umbrella of God and the angels' protection, and we can become enslaved by humanity. So I'm going to make another format change in this video because I think most people will have the hang of identifying the questions that people ask. In the previous presentation and in this presentation, Danny channels the angels talking about symbols that you should learn. The reason for this is that if you haven't already, you should begin to receive dreams that are packed with these unique symbols from the angels to help you understand your dreams better. If you become a visionary, eventually your dreams will become prophetic and will be a big part of this religion. Most of the symbols are located in the Dreams and Vision parts of the Angel Scrolls website. I'm going to cover a few symbols you may have already experienced in your dreams since you've been monitoring what's happening here. Keep in mind that these symbols' meanings are unique to and intertwined with this religion. These symbols can either be a noun or a verb. These are just a few starter ones, for there are many other ones we can learn. We were told that when we experience a dream from the angels, our dreams will consistently relate to understanding and working with this religion. I also have to mention that the emotions that you experience during these dreams are also part of the lesson. Many of them will be magnified and be far more intense than they are in real life. So if you experience an emotion of fear in a dream, it may be disturbing, but when you wake up, you'll experience the joy of it only being a dream. The reason the angels usually project a negative feeling in a dream is often meant as a deterrent or warning. It will help you understand that you may be in confusion about something or in a frame of mind that might cause you to do something. They will try and change your mind and your path so you ultimately do not continue in the direction you're going. Just because you experience something in a dream does not mean you will experience it in real life either. We will learn later about how to tell the difference between a prophetic dream and a warning from God and the angels. Here's the first symbol I'll explain today. A house. When we dream of being in a house, it will normally mean the house of religion. A house of religion is a place where we get together, where we interact and experience relationships with others. Furniture in a house is usually something that makes you comfortable in a religion, and rearranging furniture might mean that you need to change your thinking about how comfortable you are with the current religion you belong to. Now we can move on to what Danny said before we get into any other dream symbols. In the forward part of presentation 23, I started off talking. Again, without knowing it, I was communicating through the Holy Spirit at the same time. This Holy Spirit clearly spoke about how the previous videos are changing as I do the newest versions, and how it is all a result of working with the angels and the Master of all spirits, God. So this is what I said in the reverse part. See, all new videos will need changes while working with the angels naturally like this. There's always some change while working as we channel the Master of all spirits. It has to be proven. Anyone can surely choose to listen spiritually, just like Ryan has listened. We are proving God has a reason while overseeing everything. With Christ, we follow you in strength, and while those arriving will feel this peace on earth that's given with passion, void of evil. Please concentrate and listen with headphones on, and join God and the angels in the river. So we learned some important points in that last part. The first being that whenever I do an update, the angels will help me with the transcription and perhaps even change it if necessary, so I and others will understand it better. We also learned that everyone who takes a spiritual approach to listening will be able to hear most of what I transcribe. And there was two other important parts at the end, where they talked about Christ being a part of this as well. That is truly incredible in itself. And they also talked about how we are working with the Master of all spirits. I know some of you may have thought that perhaps this could be an alien species communicating with us. Obviously, that's not the case. And even though you weren't the one who wrote down and asked these questions, you may have thought about them at one time or the other. The next symbol I'd like to talk about is bathing. When you dream of either taking a shower or bathing in a tub or even a lake, it usually means you're having a spiritual cleansing. Spiritual cleansings often come when you have guilt or low self-esteem for something that you have done in your past that bothers you. Also, washing your clothes is another form of removing any evil that has attached itself to you in life. It is God and the angels' way of letting you know that all is forgiven and you have a fresh, clean start. In this next part, Danny even mentions the name of the person asking the question and gives the question and the answer, which is quite complex. It would be truly incredible if this is the way things will proceed from here on in. When he talks about this person who comes as a friend, he mentioned how she is not a martyr. Perhaps this means that someone who is trying to do something evil in the name of their God to some other religion. In the final part of this, he talks about how new visionaries who present video for me to transcribe must believe that God is in charge and the one that has put this in motion, not me. So this is what Danny says. There is a friend with a new gift who's not here as a martyr. You're invited to the Angels Forum. Most of them will rescue you from slavery. These angels shall invoke the next miracle God has in store for humanity and Earth. We have a question, and it's from Kathy, who has some video for captioning. Is Ryan available to give a translation for you? His answer: you have to ask him. He is really busy, but heaven shall help him find some time to listen. It's a real problem if you can't spiritually believe it's God who put this in motion. Please concentrate and listen with headphones on, and join God and the angels in the river. Easy. When you dream of drinking from a fountain, it usually means you're getting a spiritual quenching. Spiritual quenching is something God and the angels often give us to retain or improve our faith. This could happen when we are going through hard times in life or have a spiritual change in thinking as well. It's God and the angels' way of letting us know that things are going to get better, and they are there with you all the way. In the next part, they talk about God reaching out to other angels who will be able to channel through this religion. Finally, he talks about this friend who comes and how she is also protected by angels, and that she may be able to help bring others who are like her. One of the things that we've learned in previous lessons from the angels was that in order for us to move on to the next level of spiritual evolution, we have to have love and compassion in our hearts for other living things. So those animals that do will make it to heaven as well. So this is what he says. Believe God shall reach directly to every angel who's able to channel through this religion. It's accepted throughout history. Angels have the right to agree this mission is very close to the statutes of helping every life. If we are spiritual, connect to God's stream, then we rely on the same angels that look after us. Everywhere in history, we protect life's philosophy that averts danger. Ryan, you have to believe that she can connect to people and bring someone just like her who has spiritual methods that can help. Really, her angels protect her, and you'll have help again. You may also dream of sailing on a boat, or traveling in a ship, or even being in a car or a bus. All of these are often symbolic of vehicles of religion. We will often use them when traveling from religion to spirituality, or religion to our daily life routine. One thing we were taught is that you can be in religion and spirituality at the same time, and we can always be in spirituality during our daily life as we walk with God and the angels. The size of the vehicle of religion we use is often determined by the amount of spiritual people that are in our life, and taking it on a journey is symbolic of the route we take to get to heaven. This next part is quite amazing and begins to expand on how the angels interact and help us in many different ways. It also talks about family that are in heaven and other angels that have a connection to your dreams. These angels reach out to you in your confusion and help you make spiritual decisions through your dreams and visions. They also explain how the divine approach that they take can assist you in preventing evil actions in life. And this is what Danny said. Now we wait for her to expand on those questions. Her questions now exist in heaven, and she'll have a spiritual gift for all of you here. Often family exists in heaven. As you're beginning to surely believe you have angels, at night they'll interact with you. They have a channel for your dreams, and you shall feel them reaching out each time you're driven by confusion. In your life, they shall endeavor to wrest your problems. They resolve evil without the emotions, with a better result. Please concentrate and listen with headphones on, and join God and the angels in the river. So these angels who love you are troubled when they see you in situations that you have little control over. I believe that their everlasting soul allows them a glimpse into the future, and they know things that you can do to prevent the evil actions of either yourself or others. They also help you to keep love in your life, so you can join them when the time comes. If you dream of climbing a ladder or being on a ladder, it's a symbol for spiritual evolution. We spend a significant amount of time learning about how we spiritually evolve. Every sentient life form goes through some form of spiritual evolution. Fortunately, humans and some animals are on the highest level, which enable us to take the next step to join God and the angels in heaven. There's a lot more to it, and at one point I may do an entire presentation on it. The basics are that a life form goes through many stages and is moved on to a higher step of the evolutionary scale each time it is reborn. That is, if it has spiritually evolved and has love and compassion for others and tries to do good things in life. So in actuality, each one of us could have started out as the smallest form of life and through millions of years, because our soul is eternal, evolved to the point we are at now. However, if we devolve spiritually, we move down to the previous level until we get it right to move up again. Or if we don't evolve, we stay at the current level that we were on. Going through multiple forms of life is evident in the way a human embryo evolves, as it takes on many characteristics of different forms of life throughout the growth process. It is also evident in human DNA, as it is mostly composed of the exact same DNA as most plants and animals, and this brings us back to the quantum connection as well. So let's move on to the next part of Danny talking. So Danny says, "We believe that no solutions can leave a lot of angels troubled. We take a truly divine approach and promise the results will be in your favor. The devotion of your angels can help love retention, which prevents arrival of actions of evil. You shall dream of devotion and love with God's family. If you really believe in this approach, you shall evolve spiritually and overcome evil of the future. The end of August, God will have a miracle event which involves this religion. This event will thwart some evil. Some of you will know God called you here, as your intention can help in this beautiful spiritual forum. Our intervention has an energy that is announced with a voice that comes from a budgie." Everyone knows that they experience confusion in their life, especially when it comes to relationships. For those that are visionaries in this religion, there are systems in place to help reverse it. Most of the time the answer will come through a dream or even a vision. Other times it will come with direct interaction from the angels. That is why it is important to remember the symbols of this video. As you learn, you'll be able to tell the difference between a warning, which is God's way of encouraging us to think differently about something before we act in fear or anger, or to guide you away from an event that is going to happen in the future that can cause you pain and suffering. You really have to trust in God and the angels to give you guidance so you'll be able to evolve spiritually without having bad things happen to you along the way. Anything that causes pain and suffering or prevents you from spiritual evolution is a form of evil which we can try and avoid. The last couple of symbols that I'd like to talk about today are actions which create much emotions in a dream. For example, being lost or looking for something like your car, which is the vehicle of religion, and not being able to find it can be very emotional in a dream. Or we can be in a familiar place but still not know where we are going. These are good examples of spiritual confusion. So when you dream about something like this, God and the angels are more or less telling you that you are confused about something and need to rethink it. Once we realize that we are in confusion, then we can look for ways to correct the problem or get the answers we need to understand it better. So in this next part, Danny says, when the powerful will challenge something great, will give you protection. There was an original prophecy when Ryan did a lesson on a quantum reversal while showing the fashion he's encountering a divine miracle. A miracle is something encountered that shows a belief in God can change an event and reverse evil. When confusion encounters a prophet, you shall see reasons there's a spiritual answer, often given during a dream. We shall show evidence in our forum that is sent to help you avoid it. Just remember, we have intervention that depends on prophecies of light. These waves of light shall shine from God. Another original prophecy that we had was that there would be holy people, priests, and ministers who will also come to this religion to experience this miracle. Not only will it provide evidence of God and boost faith in them, it will also allow them to think differently about many things that they've been taught about their religion in the past. There is no reason why we should not support a new religion as long as it is based on good things, and especially when it comes from God. In the Bible, it talks about those that prophesy, speak tongues, and communicate with angels, and even communicate with God. So why can it not happen now? God and the angels are not asking anyone to change their religion, just update it a bit and support other religions that rely on the same principles. So in this next part, Danny says, each religion that we encounter in the spiritual nature will often get some news with God's view. Each lesson that you have, God has seen a reason to pass on to your religion. We know how many here will hear this plan, and we have a time, you will see that a certain percent will understand what they say and announce it. Learn from Ryan Reynolds, the unknown teacher, who delivers this with pure devotion of a type the angels and God are supporting. We just want you to learn from him. It's the first time you have speech from heaven where we support a new religion with your help. The final symbol that I'd like to talk about today is when we are being chased in a dream. When you are being chased, it is a representation of something evil that is trying to attach itself to you. Often throughout our life, when evil happens to us, we carry it with us the rest of our life. So dreaming about being chased by evil is kind of like knowing that if you keep on doing something that you shouldn't be, then evil could happen to you. Another part of that is when you dream about something being attached to you. For example, a dog biting into your leg, or a scary creature grabbing you. The emotions experienced through it are nightmarish, but again, once you wake up, you're happy to know that's only a dream, and thank God for the warning, because we sure wouldn't want something like that to happen to us in real life. So by having the dream, we can closely contemplate what thought may be lurking in our mind that may cause something evil to happen to us in the future and take a different path that is more spiritual. Yes, I know that reversal was a difficult one to understand because much of it was so faint. Trust me though, if you play the parts that are hard to understand back a few times and listen real hard, you should be able to hear more each time. The first time you go through it, try not to focus on what you cannot hear, but what you can, and then go back over it to try and hear the parts you had trouble with. That is it for this presentation. Thanks again for coming, and I hope you return to hear the next presentation, which should be in a week or two. Meanwhile, I will soon post the forward and reverse short versions of 23 and 24, so you can listen to them without being interrupted by me speaking. This completes this presentation. Thanks for listening. If you'd like to join us, you can come to theangelscrolls.com and click on to the forum link at the top, where we will be adding the newest presentations. Bye for now.